I literally predicted every single state, all 50 correctly. I was 100% accurate in this election. Right here was my official final map that I posted about 10 days ago. I had Donald Trump at 312 electoral votes for my finalized prediction. I nailed that exactly. To Kamala Harris is 226. These are the real results right now. Donald Trump currently at 301. Now, when he gets Arizona, because he's going to win it, as you can see right here, he basically is going to win the state, 67% in, and he's up by about 5 percentage points. So when Arizona gets called, because it will, he will be at 312 electoral votes, meaning that I would predict every single state correctly, literally. And Wisconsin, I had Donald Trump winning it. And guess what? He won it. Michigan, I had Trump winning it. Guess what? He won it. As you can see right here. Same thing goes for Pennsylvania. A number of these battleground states. Literally, I predicted every single battleground state correct. There were 7 in this election. Those are Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. I literally called every single battleground state for Donald Trump a couple weeks prior to the election for my final prediction. And I correctly predicted just that, exactly that. He did win every single swing state as I had predicted. And guess what? I actually underestimated him in some of the things. Now, I was actually very accurate with the popular vote. I had predicted Trump would get 71 million votes. And guess what? He got 72. So I actually slightly underestimated him with the popular vote. But just by 1 million votes? So I was actually probably more accurate than anyone else with the popular vote. Now, what I will say is I had Kamala at just 70 million votes, which I overestimated her. She actually got, below 70 million at a little over 60 million votes. But in regards to Trump's numbers with the popular vote, I had him at 71. He ended up getting 72, as you can see right here on your screen. Kamala Harris gets 67 million votes. And I correctly predicted Trump would win the popular vote, and guess what? He did exactly that. And there was a bit of surprises in this election. New Jersey, I had that solid blue for Kamala. Guess what? It was not even likely. New Jersey was lean. She only won this state, guys. By what? 4 percentage points. Almost 5 points. That is not even likely. That is considered a lean margin with 85% of the vote in. Kamala Harris only gets New Jersey by 51.5 to Donald Trump's 46.6%. I think this right here was one of the biggest surprises. But what I will say, as for the Senate, there were a ton of surprises, including David McCormick, I believe right now is on track to defeat the incumbent Democrat Bob Casey, which we will get to how I did on the Senate in another video. For right now, we're focusing on the presidential election, the general election, which I correctly predicted every single state. I was 100% accurate. Now, what I will say is in terms of the margins, I was a little bit off, slightly underestimating Kamala Harris in some states and slightly overestimating Donald Trump and other states. But as for the projections itself, I correctly predicted all 50 states. Now, for the margins, yet again, we go to Wisconsin. I had Trump winning it by close to 2 points, and guess what? He won it by exactly 1 percentage point. So I slightly underestimated Kamala in Wisconsin by just about a percentage point. This one caught me off guard because in this election, Wisconsin actually voted to the left of both Michigan and Pennsylvania, which in 2020 was the complete opposite. It actually voted to the right of both Michigan and Pennsylvania. So this was a really weird state. And I believe Door County actually went for Kamala Harris, which is also weird because typically Door County correctly predicted the winner of 5 elections in a row, 5 straight elections. Wherever Door County goes, the entire state of Wisconsin will go in that direction, sway that race. So if Trump were to win Door County, he would win Wisconsin. Now, that actually did not happen this time around. Kamala won Door County, but he winded up winning the state by a pretty significant margin. And then we go to the state of Michigan, which I had Donald Trump actually winning the state by a margin of just 0.2%. And if you don't believe me, you can go take a look at my final official prediction. It's literally up. The video is up. I had Trump at 312. So that is literal proof. I posted that video over a week ago, almost 2 weeks, and I had Trump winning Michigan by 0.2. Guess what? I underestimated him. He actually won it by over a percentage point. So, and then you have Pennsylvania. I had him winning it by a tilt margin of just about 1 point. Guess what? He won it by more than that. he actually won it by exactly 2 percentage points, as you can see right here, with over 95% of the vote is in. So yet again, I underestimated Donald Trump in Pennsylvania and Michigan as well, but I overestimated him in Wisconsin. So in terms of the margins, they were a little bit off. I did, as you can see, overestimate him in some states like Wisconsin and underestimate him in others like New Jersey, for example. Now, I did correctly predict every single state. And Allan Lichtman is literally in disarray. He is miserable right now. And in his live stream, I believe he was furious. And you could take a look at the live stream that Allan Lichtman was doing. He says, "I don't know what's going on." So, lines across, across those lines, something like that. So, I think Allan Lichtman's, 13 keys is reasonable, but guess what? He did not use them correctly, and that's his problem. I think he's ignorant. He chose the ignorant route. If you were to factor in a key that had a candidate who did not win a primary and was chosen by the delegates, she was swapped in. So if he had a key that would factor in a fake nominee, this time around being Kamala Harris, then I think he would be more accurate on top of if he factored in another key that, counted in public perception of the economy. And he didn't. He said the economy was good. He gave both of those keys to Kamala Harris. And if he wasn't so ignorant, he would have another key about public perception. And that's what I've been talking about. Allan Lichtman, I knew was going to be wrong because of public perception, and Kamala Harris was not voted in by the people. If you just factored in those two keys, a candidate that was not chosen by the people and public perception of the economy, he would have been more accurate. But he chose the ignorant route, and I've been saying this all along. He could have been correct. But in fact, his bias got to him, and he was ignorant, and he was like, no way, America's going to elect a dictator, and he called Trump a fascist, whatever. And I just think he should retire at this point in time. I mean, his keys are good, but then he just doesn't know how to use them. And apparently I do, because I used his keys to predict Donald Trump would win because he doesn't know how to use it, apparently. And it turns out to be right. So there you guys go. We have a few more battleground states. Nevada, I underestimated Donald Trump. I had him winning it by a tilt margin of just a little bit under a percentage point. Guess what? That surprised me. He won it by about 5 percentage points, actually exactly 5 points, which is likely not even lean, by the way. And then you have the state of Arizona, which votes are still counting, 67% in 2/3. And Donald Trump, as of right now, has a 5-point lead in the state. Also, a likely margin as well. I had him winning it by a lean margin of about 2 to 3 percentage points, so slightly off with that, but still correctly predicted every single state. And then you have Georgia. I had it lean for Donald Trump by a little over 2.5 percentage points. Guess what? I was really spot on. He literally won it by 2 points, and I had him winning it by 2.5. So in terms of the margin in Georgia, I was really accurate. Then you have the state of North Carolina. Trump won it by a little over 3 percentage points, similar to his exact margin in 2016. I had him winning it by the same margin I had him winning Georgia by, a little over 2.5 percentage points. So yet again, slightly underestimated North Carolina. Now, Josh Stein defeated Mark Robinson on the governorship, which I also correctly predicted that as well. So what I thought would happen was that would hurt Donald Trump because of Mark Robinson, but it would not be enough for Kamala to win. Therefore, I had her winning it by 2.5 instead of the actually over 3% she won realistically. He won it by on election day. So I had Josh Stein defeating Mark Robinson, as you can see right here, by 8 percentage points. A likely margin. I underestimated Josh Stein. He actually won it by more than just the 8 I had him winning it by about 15 percentage points. So it was actually solid for Josh Stein. I still predicted he would win, but just by 8 instead of 15. And then you have New Hampshire's governor race. I correctly called it for Kelly Ayotte by about 4 points by a lean margin. I underestimated her. She won it by even more. A likely margin of about 8 percentage points. So in some races I did underestimate Democrats, and in others I did overestimate Republicans. It really depends on what you take a look at. And then you have the House of Representatives. As of right now, Republicans are more than likely going to win. As you can see right here, if you scroll down, they have a 92% chance of winning the House once again, as they did in the 2022 midterms. They're about to get 218 seats. So far, it's not called, but they're at 210, leading to the Democrats 194. Now, my final official prediction, I had Republicans at 219 for the House of Representatives. So once they're all counted, we'll see if I was correct. I had them at 219. So far, they're about to win it. and they're at 210. They only need 218 for a majority. So basically, at this point in time, they're going to get a trifecta, and I also predicted that as well. I had them winning the Senate by 52 seats, which we'll get to that in another video. The presidential election, I completely nailed that at 312 electoral votes, and once Arizona is counted, I will be correct, as you can see. He's at 301, and as far as the governors go, I called all of that, besides the margins were kind of off. And then you have the Senate, like I just mentioned, 52 seats for the Republicans, and they actually looks like they're going to win by even more than that as if right now. If McCormick holds on, which it looks like he might be able to with 92% in, he's up by 0.6. I will also get that called not correct because I had projected Bob Casey would win by a little over percentage point. So, which I'll get to the Senate in another video. So right now we focused on the House, the general election, and the governor's races. I correctly predicted every single. I literally nailed this, including the popular vote, which I had Trump at 71. Guess what? He got 72. I was so close with the popular votes. So I correctly predicted every single state, all 50, in the election. Obviously, the margins were wrong in some of the states. Now, what really shocked me was Florida. Florida went to Donald Trump by like 14 points, which like no Republican has won it by this much. Now, it is his home state, so obviously he's going to win it. But I had him winning it by 9 to 10 points, not 14. That was actually basically the same margin Marco Rubio won it back in the 2022 midterms. And then you have the state of Virginia. As you can see right here, I had Kamala winning it by a lean margin of 4 percentage points. I basically nailed that. She won it by around 5 percentage points. And then you have New Jersey. We go back to New Jersey. This was really bad for Kamala. And also, one thing I want to mention is Illinois, guys, only went to Kamala by exactly 8 percentage points. It was likely. That was definitely not on my radar. I had it solid for her by a little bit over 11%. She ended up winning it by 8 percentage points. Then you have Ohio, which Donald Trump obviously won that, which I correctly predicted as well. Now, New York, as you can see in my final prediction, I had Kamala winning it by around 10 percentage points. And I also got that pretty close as she won it by around 10, as you can see the margins right here. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. And once the House is official, we'll see if they do get the 219 that I originally projected. And the Senate, if McCormick wins, I will get that incorrect. I also predicted Kari Lake would lose, by the way. And I predicted Jackie Rosen would win. As of right now, it looks like I might be wrong. So one last final reminder to subscribe, click the bell so you don't miss on my content, press the like button, share this video. Don't forget we have memberships. You can find links to that in the description section if you are interested. And also, one thing I noticed, it's really hilarious that Kamala Harris herself has to certify the votes on like, I believe January 6th or something, or the 20th. Sometime in January, whatever it is, she has to certify the votes because all the vice presidents do it. Obviously, Mike Pence did it in 2020. The main reason why Donald Trump got mad at him. He certified the vote. So Kamala has to do the same thing, but this time it's going to be herself certifying that she lost the election on herself, which is pretty hilarious. But that's pretty much it.